Nobody saw this coming, not even his fiercest critics. Sean Kingston, once known for his chart-topping hits and larger-than-life persona, has just made headlines for all the wrong reasons. But this time, it's not about music, lawsuits, or flashy cars. No. This is about a brutal jail attack that left inmates screaming, guards scrambling, and Sean's entire team in complete chaos. Sources inside the facility claim the singer was targeted the moment he walked through those cold prison doors. And now, there's talk of a setup, betrayal, and even revenge. Whispers are flying through the prison corridors. Sean was caught in the middle of a gang-related altercation, and someone on the outside might have known exactly what they were doing. Fans are stunned, some others reportedly demanding answers. And music insiders, they're speculating this could be part of a larger conspiracy involving past enemies and shady deals gone wrong. What really happened inside that jail cell? And why was Sean Kingston, of all people, dragged into it? Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the disturbing and unexpected jailhouse drama that's got everyone from Hollywood to the hip-hop world talking non-stop. This isn't just another celeb behind bars. This feels personal. It started with silence. Not the kind of silence that comes with peace, but the kind that creeps in before everything explodes. When Sean Kingston entered the correctional facility, people expected gossip, maybe even some mockery. What they didn't expect was blood from the very first moment. Guards reported a strange tension in the air. Inmates stopped mid-conversation. Whispers started flying. Sean, known for his laid-back smile and larger-than-life image, walked in looking dazed like reality hadn't hit him yet. But it was about to. And it was going to hit hard. One inmate, who asked to remain anonymous, shared that word had already spread before Sean arrived. People knew he was coming, he said. Someone inside was waiting for him. But the big question is, why? Why would a pop reg singer with no street ties suddenly become a target? According to one correctional officer, it may have nothing to do with Sean himself. It might be about who he's connected to. Over the past year, Sean had been in headlines for all the wrong reasons for all allegations, financial lawsuits, and one very messy case involving stolen electronics and a shady Florida warehouse raid. That warehouse, well, turns out it was connected to a man doing 15 years for federal-level racketeering charges. And that man has enemies inside and outside prison walls. The first night Sean spent behind bars was reportedly uneventful. He kept to himself, asked for water, and made a few quiet phone calls. But by morning, everything had changed. At around 8:42 a.m., chaos broke out in cell block D. And guess who was in the middle of it? Witnesses say 3 men approached Sean while he was sitting at a table, trying to eat breakfast. What started as a quiet conversation turned into raised voices. Then, fists flew. Trays were thrown. One inmate reportedly grabbed Sean by the collar and slammed his head against the metal table. Guards rushed in, sirens blared, and the moment the altercation was controlled, Sean was bleeding. A blurry photo started circulating online just hours later, allegedly showing Sean being wheeled out on a stretcher. Eyes closed, bandage on his temple. It wasn't confirmed, but fans were already spiraling. The hashtags were flying. Hashtag justice for Sean. Hashtag what they do him. Hashtag protect Sean.b behind the scenes. Something even more disturbing was unfolding. Sean's mother, known publicly as Mama Kingston, was said to be on the verge of a complete breakdown. She reportedly called the facility 12 times in one day, demanding to know if her son was safe. When she couldn't reach anyone directly, she left a chilling voicemail. "If something happens to my boy, the world will know," she said. "I will not stay quiet." The voicemail leaked within hours. Meanwhile, fans were arguing online, some claiming Sean was a victim, others saying he played with the wrong people for too long. And then a new rumor surfaced. One of the attackers allegedly knew Sean from before the arrest, a source close to the Kingston family hinted that Sean had done business with a few questionable individuals in the past year, people who might have felt burned when things went left. He tried to juggle fame and street connections, the insider claimed. But that world don't forgive, and it wasn't just about business. It was about betrayal. One name came up repeatedly in whispers: Rico West, a former associate of Sean's who vanished from the public eye after being arrested in late 2023. Sources now say Rico may have been linked to the very same crew that went after Sean in prison. But here's the twist: Rico had allegedly blamed Sean for singing during an earlier investigation. No proof, just rumors. And in jail, rumors get you hurt. One inmate who has moved from that block said, "You ain't gotta be guilty. You just gotta look guilty." Sean looked guilty to the wrong ones. The attack didn't end with fists. Later that day, another inmate allegedly slipped a threatening note under Sean's door. It read, "Keep your mouth shut. Next time won't be a warning." What's even more shocking is that the note was scribbled on the back of a visitation slip, suggesting it came from someone who had contact with the outside. So now, people are asking, was this attack random or was it coordinated? At this point, Sean had been moved to protective custody, but even that wasn't enough to ease his anxiety. According to reports, he refused food for nearly 48 hours. He didn't speak, didn't shower, just sat in his cell, eyes fixed on the wall. He looked broken, a guard said, like he didn't understand how things turned this bad. And just when everyone thought the worst had passed, someone leaked a voice message. It was allegedly Sean talking to a friend over a monitored prison call. In a shaky voice, he said, "They tried to take me out, man. This ain't no regular fight. They knew what they was doing. This was planned." He went on to say something that made jaws drop. "They told me someone from my own team sold me out." Fans couldn't believe it. How could someone from Sean's inner circle, his team, his people, be part of something this dark? Comments flooded social media. "Nah, this ain't just jail politics. This got snakes all over it. He trusted the wrong people. Again. Better start naming names, or he won't make it out." Meanwhile, Sean's lawyer released a brief statement, confirming the incident, but refusing to give details. "Our client was involved in an altercation and is currently receiving medical attention," the statement read. "We are taking steps to ensure his safety." But it wasn't enough. People wanted answers, and the streets were talking louder than ever. One underground blog even posted what they claimed was surveillance footage of the fight. It showed grainy black and white clips of a scuffle, it was hard to tell who was who. Still, the internet went wild. Every blurred face was analyzed, every movement slowed down. Theories were flying, and then something strange happened. A burner account on X, formerly Twitter, posted a message at 2:16 a.m. "This ain't over. Sean got what he had coming. Next time we finish it." The account vanished within hours. But screenshots remained, and fans, they were panicking. What started as a celebrity jail drama was spiraling into something deeper, something personal, something possibly fatal. As part 1 ends, the world waits for Sean Kingston's next move. But behind prison walls, trust is a weapon. And right now, Sean doesn't know who's holding the knife. When the world heard Sean Kingston's whispered words through that prison phone, "Someone from my own team sold me out," the energy shifted completely. What was once viewed as a tragic celebrity setback now looked like something bigger, something dirty. Something rooted in betrayal, revenge, and silent wars that had been bubbling for years. And fans, they weren't quiet. They went straight to work. Within hours, online detectives started combing through Sean's inner circle. His tour manager, his social media guy, even the woman who handled his merch. No one was safe from the speculation. People began pulling up old posts, watching old videos, finding every subtle sign that could be twisted into proof of disloyalty. One name, though, kept rising to the surface. Travis, his longtime road assistant. A man who had been by Sean's side for over 5 years, helping him with bookings, flights, and backstage security. But now, whispers were growing louder. And someone posted a screenshot that sent the internet into a frenzy. It was an old Instagram live clip from 2 months before Sean's arrest. In the video, Travis is heard saying, "I told him these people ain't playing games no more. I did my part." At the time, no one thought much of it. Now, it looked like a warning, or worse, confession. But what made it all explode? A voicemail leaked just 1 day later. 1 day later. This time, it was Travis speaking, and the words were cold. "I told him not to drag me into this. I got my own situation to worry about. If he gets touched, that ain't on me." Fans were stunned. The loyalty that once seemed unbreakable now looked like it was always hanging by a thread. And back inside that cold prison cell, Sean, he was spiraling. According to another guard, Sean hadn't stopped shaking since the attack. He refused to sleep unless the light was on, kept pacing the small room for hours, whispering to himself. They even caught him crying into his hands. More than once. But here's where it takes a darker turn. One of the attackers was suddenly moved to a completely different facility. No warning, no explanation. Just gone. And guess what? That's not standard protocol. Prison insiders believe someone pulled strings, either to protect him more to silence him. The transfer was too clean, one source said. Up didn't want that man talking, and that man. Sources say he was directly connected to Rico West. Remember him? The former friend turned possible enemy. Well, it gets even messier, because word started spreading that Rico and Travis had crossed paths last year outside of Sean's knowledge. Was it a coincidence, or were they plotting behind the scenes? The timeline was suspicious. Rico gets locked up. Sean starts dealing. With shady business drama, the Florida warehouse gets raided. Then Sean gets caught up and ends up face to face with people tied to Rico's circle. It looked less like random chaos and more like a setup in motion. And then another voice. Memo dropped. This time, it wasn't Sean. It was Mama Kingston. And the pain in her voice was unmistakable. They think he's weak. They think my baby can't fight, but he's stronger than they know. And I'll find out every name involved. She ended the voicemail with something haunting. "You took my son's freedom. Don't take his life." The internet exploded again. Fans rallied hard, flooding the jail with calls and emails. #Protection trended worldwide for 2 days straight. Even celebrities began weighing in, some with genuine concern, others just chasing clout. Rapper Plies tweeted, "Ain't no way y'all letting Sean go through that. Fix this." But it was Bunk Gangiez, him who dropped a bombshell during an Instagram live. "I know who was behind that hit," he said, eyes wide, voice low. "This go deeper than y'all think. Music, money, street ties, and old grudges. Sean was in the middle of a war. He ain't start." That clip racked up 3.5 million views in a single day. Meanwhile, inside the jail, Sean received his first visitor since the attack. And guess who it was? Not Travis, not his lawyer, not even a label rep. It was his cousin Destiny, the only family member who hadn't abandoned him after the lawsuits started flying. And according to the visitor log, she stayed for 3 full hours. An inside source claimed Destiny left the facility in tears. But before she walked out, she reportedly said one thing to Sean through the thick glass window. "You need to decide who's real and who's ready to bury you." And here's where things turned weird. Because less than 48 hours later, Travis posted a cryptic story. It was a black screen with a single sentence: "Never let a man blame you for the trap he walked into." Fans were divided. Some believed Travis was defending himself. Others said he just confirmed everything. "This man snitched without even saying names," one person commented. Another wrote, "That boy Travis bound to disappear next." But then, the most shocking twist yet, a new inmate was booked into Sean's facility. A man with heavy ties to the Miami music scene and, according to insiders, another person Sean used to work with. This time, it was Trey Don, a former producer who had publicly called out Sean for stealing tracks and ducking payments. They had beef for years, and now, they were under the same roof. Prison staff reportedly took notice immediately. Trey Don was placed in a separate unit, but that didn't stop the rumors. People started saying this was the final nail. If Sean wasn't careful, someone was going to finish the job. And then, boom, another fight. Not involving Sean directly, but one of the attackers from the first incident was back in the spotlight. This time, he got jumped. And when asked why, one inmate reportedly said he touched the wrong one. Now, he gotta pay. Was this revenge? Was Sean getting support behind the scenes? Or was the chaos just spiraling too far? As guards tried to control the situation, rumors started swirling that Sean might be transferred out entirely to a facility with higher security and isolation protocols. And honestly, it might be the only thing keeping him alive. But behind closed doors, Sean's team was collapsing. Travis deactivated his social media. A backup dancer filed a lawsuit claiming unpaid wages. And worst of all, Sean's label quietly pulled his upcoming mixtape from all platforms. Just poof gone. This ain't about jail anymore, a source close to the label said. This is about liability. Even Mama Kingston, once defiant and furious, was now reportedly begging for Sean to be moved. And Sean, he was just silent. No more leaked calls. No more whispers, just a man, locked away, unsure who betrayed him, unsure who would try again, and unsure if he'd make it through another night. And just when the world thought the chaos couldn't go any further, the prison's emergency lockdown alarms went off and Sean Kingston's name was at the center of it all again. The sirens didn't stop. Red lights flooded the hallways. Guards sprinted in every direction, shouting codes. Metal doors slammed shut with loud echoes, locking everyone down. And in the center of it all, Sean Kingston's name was being shouted over the radios. This wasn't just another fight. This wasn't just another scuffle. This was personal. And this time, someone made sure Sean couldn't escape it. At exactly 7:36 p.m., multiple sources confirmed that 2 inmates bypassed a gate during meal transfer and made their way toward the protective unit where Sean was housed. What's even crazier? They were carrying something sharp crafted from broken plastic and melted toothbrush handles. They weren't coming to talk. They came to finish what was started. But here's the twist. They didn't get the chance because someone beat them to it. By the time those 2 inmates were spotted and restrained, Sean had already been found curled up in the corner of his cell, blood on his shirt, lips split open, and a gash near his eye. Whatever happened didn't happen in front of the cameras. Someone had gotten to him quietly. No alarms triggered, no witness statements filed, no footage found. It's just pain and silence. Immediately, the rumors exploded. Was it another inmate, a rogue guard, or was Sean set up to be left unprotected? A prison medic who treated Sean shared something chilling off the record. He kept saying one name over and over: Just one name, over and over, like a broken record. But they refused to reveal who, and right then, fans lost it. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. The story was viral again, spinning out of control. People were now demanding federal investigation. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag get Sean out. Hashtag this Issa ambush. Hashtag Sean Kingston bleeds. Even Lil Scrappy chimed in, posting a story saying, "This ain't right. Fame or not, y'all can't let this happen." But the most unexpected reaction came from someone no one saw coming. Soulja Boy. During a random live stream, Soulja paused mid-rant and looked straight into the camera. "I ain't cool with Sean," he said, "but this jail ***T. Nah, this different. If y'all don't protect that man, y'all gone have blood on your hands. For real." The clip went viral in minutes. And then, another twist hit. A burner account believed to be operated by someone connected to the Florida warehouse investigation posted an encrypted voice note. When decoded, it said, "Check the cameras from Tuesday. Someone in uniform opened Sean's door." If that's true, then this wasn't a random attack. This was orchestrated, and that would explain the silence. No cameras catching anything. No alarms being set off. No guards admitting to seeing a thing. It meant one horrifying thing: someone with access wanted Sean hurt. Maybe dead. And then came the blow that truly broke Mama Kingston. She went live on Facebook for the first time in months. Tears pouring down her face, shaking with fear. She cried out, "He's my baby." They left him for dead. They knew. They KNEW. He was in danger and did nothing. The video cut off mid-sob, but not before she said something that made millions freeze. "I've been quiet about what happened in Florida, but if my son dies, I'll burn it all down." That sentence alone sparked thousands of conspiracy theories. What did she know really was going on in that Florida warehouse? And who was scared enough to try silencing Sean Kingston, even inside jail? Meanwhile, back behind bars, Sean had finally been moved again, this time to a full isolation unit in a separate wing of the prison. No contact, no roommates, just four walls, a small bed, and 23 hours a day alone. But the trauma had settled in deep. A prison psychologist leaked that Sean was showing signs of intense paranoia, auditory hallucinations, and insomnia. He kept repeating things like "they're coming again," and "I shouldn't have said anything," over and over. Again, it was like he knew more than he ever let on. And then boom, a confidential email between Sean's lawyer and a private investigator leaked online. In it, they discussed pulling past phone logs and financial records tied to Travis and Rico West. The email read, "Client believes Travis may have passed sensitive information to parties connected to Rico West's crew. Further believes threats were made as early as October." This was huge. It confirmed what fans had been suspecting for weeks. Sean didn't just guess who betrayed him. He had reasons. He had receipts. And then, someone else spoke up. A former bodyguard who used to work with Sean back in 2021 came forward in a now-deleted TikTok video. He said Sean had been moving recklessly for over a year. He was in too deep, he said. Owed the wrong people, promised too many things he couldn't deliver. And when stuff started going sideways, he tried to back out, but by then, too late. But what stunned fans most was what he said next. He was warned. Not just once, 3 times. And every time, he thought his name was big enough to protect him. But in this game, your name don't mean nothing when you cross the wrong people. If that wasn't enough to shake the world, the final twist of Part 3 came in the form of one blurry, leaked photograph. A grainy prison security image showed a man in uniform walking past Sean's door at the exact time the second attack Allegedly happened. The man's face was blurred, but his name tag barely visible, and when fans zoomed in, enhanced, and shared their findings. The name tag read, T. Woods. And guess who used to go by the street name Woods back in the day? Travis. Whether it was real or edited, no one could say for sure, but it was enough. Sean's team filed an emergency court request for a transfer and an external investigation, and fans, they were holding their breath as Part 3 ends. Sean Kingston lies in isolation, broken and bruised, haunted by the people he once trusted. While the world finally begins to realize, this wasn't just about fame. This was about power, betrayal, and survival. And the game is far from over. The photo hit the internet like wildfire. That single name tag T. Woods became the most searched phrase across hip-hop blogs, Reddit threads, and YouTube live streams for 48 hours straight. And even though no official prison staff list was ever released, it didn't matter. The fans had already made up their minds. Travis set Sean up. He was in the building. No way this was coincidence. How deep does this go? Somebody talk. But what really tipped the scale wasn't a photo. It was what happened next. Sean Kingston disappeared. No, not from the prison, not from the earth, but from sight. For a full 72 hours after the emergency court filing, no one saw him. No guards, no inmates, no medical staff. He was moved again, but this time the location was sealed. Off-grid, private wing. Only 2 officers assigned. And both of them were transferred from a different state. Why? Because whatever was going on around Sean Kingston wasn't just a jail problem anymore. It had become a matter of public safety. A private email leaked between 2 internal investigators confirmed what fans feared. There was a possibility that merged. Dumbed commenting. Was a possibility that someone on Sean's former team had been working with a larger criminal network, possibly to protect their own freedom in exchange for handing over Sean's movements, habits, and weak spots inside the system. That's right, Sean may have been the sacrifice to protect others, and guess what? The name Rico West popped up again, according to a sealed affidavit accidentally referenced in a court docket. Cooperating witness had named both Sean and Travis in a wider federal probe tied to fraud, racketeering, and money laundering through digital assets and ghost businesses. But Sean's name was crossed out, meaning he wasn't the target anymore. He was the pawn, and here's where things get even colder. A second leaked call surfaced between 2 anonymous voices allegedly tied to Rico West's people. One voice said, "He's locked down now. The rest is clean." The other replied, "Just make sure the kid doesn't talk. He's scared." "Good. Keep him that way." The kid they mentioned. Fans believe they were talking about Sean because in a world built on silence, fear keeps you alive. But not everyone was keeping quiet in a shocking twist. Destiny, Sean's cousin and only consistent visitor, went live from her home, breaking her silence in a raw, teary session. Thousands tuned in. Her voice cracked with every word, but she held nothing back. "My cousin ain't perfect. He's made mistakes, but they trying to erase him. And people he trusted are behind it." Then she dropped the line that flipped everything on its head. "Travis ain't just a snake, he's a puppet. And y'all need to start asking, who's holding the strings?" Boom. The internet broke again, and now the attention turned to people above Travis, investors, label partners, old business associates Sean had quietly cut off over the last year. Names started flying, and some of them. One major music exec who asked to remain anonymous told a blog, Sean walked away from deals worth millions, ghosted contracts, pissed off some real people. Folks, don't forget, when you mess with their money. But the most damning info came from an unexpected place. An ex-inmate who had been in the same facility 6 months prior anonymously sent a recorded message to a small underground YouTube channel. In it, he claimed to have overheard discussions months ago, talking about a celebrity target who would be arriving in summer. They didn't say names, but they said, "Make it look like a message." When asked why they'd want to hurt a celebrity inside jail, the ex-inmate replied, "Because inside these walls, the outside don't matter. If you cross the wrong people, your fame becomes your weakness. Everybody knows your face. That makes you easy to reach." So now, it's no longer about Sean Kingston the artist. It's about Sean Kingston the liability, and back inside that undisclosed private unit. Sean finally broke his silence again, during a legal phone call with his attorney one. That was not supposed to be recorded. Someone captured a snippet. His voice was faint, but the words were chilling. "They already marked me. I just need to make it out alive." And then, the phone cut off. Within 24 hours, Mama Kingston released her final public statement. "I'm done begging. I'm going public. If my son don't make it out, the world will know everything. Every name, every dollar, every backroom meeting." Rumors swirled that she'd already sat down with a major streaming docuseries team, Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon. No one knew for sure. But the idea of a Kingston expose had fans frothing at the mouth. "This ain't over," one fan tweeted. "This is just the intermission." And then, like a spark in a gasoline room, another twist hit. A prison riot broke out. Not in Sean's unit, but connected. 3 inmates were found unconscious in the general population yard. Each of them had ties to the initial attack on Sean, and on the ground near them, a torn piece of paper with one sentence: "He ain't alone. No one knows who left it." But the message was clear. Someone was watching Sean's back now. Maybe inmates who respected him. Maybe outside players. Maybe people who were sick of seeing pawns get punished while the real kings sat safely at home. Whatever the case, it was no longer just about surviving jail. This had turned into a war of silence, a war of loyalty, a war of exposure. And Sean Kingston, bleeding, betrayed, bruised, and barely hanging on, was the one person who held the story no one wanted told. As Part 4 ends, the world waits for him to speak, but will he make it out alive to tell the truth? Or has the truth already sealed his fate? Sean Kingston, once a chart-topping icon with a voice that made the world sing, is now the center of one of the darkest, most twisted scandals hip-hop has ever seen. Betrayed from the inside, targeted from the outside, and trapped in a system that seems more eager to silence him than protect him. He trusted the wrong people, said too much, and maybe got caught up in secrets that were never meant to reach. Daylight. The question isn't just will he survive this anymore. The real question is, what does he know that made them come after him like this? The name tags, the voice notes, the silent transfers. Everything points to a plan that was in motion long before Sean ever touched a jail cell. And now, with his life on the line and his truth buried under layers of betrayal, we're all watching, waiting, hoping he makes it out in time to finally speak. But let's be honest, after everything we've uncovered, do you really think he's safe? We want to hear from you. Do you believe Sean Kingston was set up by his own team? Was Travis the fall guy, or just the beginning? Rico West pulling the strings? Or is someone even bigger behind this entire thing? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Let us know who you think is really responsible. And if you want part 2 of this saga when Sean speaks again, if he does, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and turn on post notifications. This story is far from over. Stay tuned, stay woke, and protect Sean at all costs.